Welcome to our 5 on 5. Pleased to welcome in Dan Bryant, the Executive Director of Square One Villages. Dan, thanks for being here. Pleasure to see you.
Glad to be here.
So you're down from Eugene. Square One Villages, in case anybody doesn't know, what do you do there?
We create communities of tiny homes for people in need of housing. So we work particularly with people who have been homeless, transitioning out of homelessness. We have 2 projects in Eugene, a transitional shelter program of just very basic sleeping cabins. And common areas that they share to cook and bathe. And then we moved from that to this year of building a permanent housing program for people that are ready to move out of Opportunity Village into permanent housing, or other people in our community in transitional programs, or people who are being forced out of their current housing just due to prices, what have you. To create a model of housing that someone whose only income is Social Security or disability, and they've only got, or maybe part-time employment or minimum wage, and they simply cannot afford the existing housing. So creating a model of housing that gets down between $250 to $350 a month. So you've got your own home, it's fully contained, it's got a full bath, got a kitchenette, but you can afford to live there. And you can pay for your own way. You're not dependent on trying to get a Section 8 voucher, for instance. Okay. So it's a new model of affordable housing.
Okay, and it's relatively new here in Southern Oregon now with Hope Village and other efforts going on. You're speaking tonight at St. Mark's Episcopal Church in just a few minutes at 7 p.m., Stories of Success, Building Tiny House Villages. What is your involvement here in Southern Oregon? What are you doing?
So I've been working both with Rogue Retreat. The good folk there came up to Eugene when we did Opportunity Village and modeled Hope Village after the program we started in Eugene, and then working with the Ashland Tiny House Group on trying to get a similar program in the Ashland area. So working with both of these communities to expand their programs, start something new down in the Ashland area, to find a solution for people who live in Southern Oregon to have an affordable place where they can live.
Okay, very good. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Much more with Dan in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, here with Dan Bryant from Square One Villages, speaking tonight at St. Mark's Episcopal Church here in downtown Medford, talking about the tiny home project you guys started up in Eugene and kind of expanding that out. What are you going to be focusing on tonight?
Well, tonight I'm just going to tell the story of what we've done in Eugene, how we started with that first transitional program and then moved into the permanent housing program, and showing people the model, showing people the pictures, giving people an image for what a tiny house project can look like, that these are really attractive buildings that would be welcomed in just about any community. So giving people that vision for what can be done.
Certainly a lot of need across the state. What advice do you have for city, county, community leaders about the advantages of this type of project?
Yeah, just to be open to this kind of development. So to provide support to groups like Rogue Retreat and the Ashland Tiny House Group to help them by making it easier. So there are all kinds of code issues and system development charges and things like that I think communities can be very creative in how they approach that to make these projects more doable. I find in every community there are people that want to do something. If we can just lower the roadblocks and the barriers to make it easier for them to do that, and then creating those partnerships to make something happen.
And I know, as we talked about Hope Village in Medford, kind of went up and visited Square One in Eugene, and I imagine you guys possibly learned about this from somewhere else. What are the advantages of learning from other groups or other projects and putting something
Well,
like
it's
together?
the old thing of reinventing the wheel. So we've developed 2 very successful models for both a shelter program and a permanent housing program, and to show how both of those can be done at a much lower cost than traditional shelters and traditional affordable housing. So we can help communities to do that, and even on our website we have what we call our toolbox with very specific ideas, and takes you through a 10-step process of how to create a tiny home village. And we even do things like selling people the actual plans for these tiny homes of 160 to 250, 300 square feet that you could use as an accessory dwelling unit, even for a standalone project if someone wants to do that in their backyard. So it's all about finding new creative ways to lower the cost of housing so that people who are low income, part-time jobs can afford to live in our communities. Those individuals in each of our communities should be able to live here. We shouldn't force them out of their housing. So giving them new possibilities that they can live with dignity and with the pride of their own home.
Okay, again, Dan talking stories of success building tiny house villages at St. Mark's Episcopal Church here in downtown Medford at 7 p.m. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Very good.
Appreciate it. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.